Well, Daydream,
Yes, Windows.
we just finished up the game. We took a small little break. What did you think? What's your overall, how do you feel?
I feel very inspired. I think it had a great message, even though that stupid book was annoying.
What was the message you got out of it?
That love can conquer all, of course.
Were there any other messages? Maybe subliminal messages? Or, wait, that's not right. Sub messages.
Yeah, I definitely think that there was a lot of discovering your self-worth or rediscovering your self-worth and then really honoring that, almost like putting it to use. That's kind of a poor way of putting it, but yeah, just like understanding yourself fully and then letting yourself be loved.
So, in this playthrough, I played as Cody and you played as May, and there on that last level when you were saying your controller was vibrating, and I pointed out it was probably your heartbeat.
Yeah.
And you had said that you were feeling anxious. Why did you feel a connection to May?
I did. I mean, yeah, in my personal life, I do deal with anxiety, and I've been in situations where I've had to either speak or perform in front of a crowd, and so I really empathized with her in that moment. You know, I've been there in her shoes, so I know exactly how that feels.
So would you wish that you had played this previous to that? Have that experience? Is this gonna benefit you? Would this have benefited you before some of these anxiety moments in your life?
I think it was more important and character building for me to experience them just raw and on my own, you know, and push through them, find that way to brace myself for it, you know. But I don't know, being in that situation in the game too, I feel just, you know, it made me flash back to those moments really. And it's just showed me how far I've come as a human being with anxiety, and just seeing what I'm capable of when I truly set my heart to something. There's some Daydream lore for you guys.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Do you have any initial questions for me? I feel like I'm interviewing you.
I do have a question for you, though.
Yes, I am listening. Since
I shared some reasons why I connect to May, what reasons do you have that you think connect you to Cody?
I weigh more than you, so I think that's first and foremost. I am definitely heavier than you.
I would be concerned if you weren't.
Let me gather my thoughts here on that. I know in my life, I've had times where I've been passionate about something and I throw it away, I guess you could say. I give up on it. Not because it was hard or difficult, but because of the opinions of others and what they said to me, and I let it affect me. So it's kind of the same thing with Cody with his gardening, where he stopped because... why did he stop? Wasn't it about the way that May... That doesn't sound right, though.
Yeah, because the way that the game set it up is that Cody was convinced that since May wasn't encouraging him in his passions, that it wasn't worth it to continue.
Exactly. That's it. That's how I think I connect the most with Cody right there. I've had my passions, but others do not support me in those passions, and I let that get to me. Instead of childing up, just kidding, manning up, and, pursuing the passion, pursuing what I want.
Yeah. Not letting others dictate your life.
That's why I'm here making these videos, I've always wanted to do this, and, I've got a great company here, great partner to do this with, and so why not,
Yeah. Well said.
Thank you. I'm
if
sure
I do say so myself.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure you would have praised it better than me. But anyways, that's beside the point. Let me ask you about this. What do you think your favorite level was out of all these? So, think about this while I go over this in a second. So, in our first area, we were in the shed. And that's where we learned the basics of the game, such as, at least on my end, you would press F to ride the little ropes and stuff. I don't know what it was on controller.
It was right bumper for me.
We would break the glass bottles with the hammer and the nails, right?
That was fun.
But that's where we also ran into the vacuum cleaner.
Oh, the infamous vacuum cleaner.
Right off the bat. And then we blew him up by sucking his eyeballs out.
His eyeballs.
Yeah, like that. I think for me was like a whoa, like hold on, calm down. Then we went to the tree section where we had the squirrels and the wasps fighting, which in reality it was squirrel versus squirrel. Where our ability was that honey gun and the match gun, right?
The explosive honey.
Or yeah. And then we did Rose's room, which had the bamboo. That's not right. Baboon. Space baboon.
There we go.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was funny.
And then if you fast forward a little bit, that's when we did the Dino Land, the octopus little thing, the bathtub, the little train, the castle. But then we also finished that one by destroying her favorite animal.
I hated that, bro. That was awful.
I disliked that one as well. That was a sad time. But there are moments as a parent that those moments do come. So I think that's what they were going for with that. Like they were trying to play into that idea of, as a parent, sometimes you have to do something for your kids that tears you apart as parents. Like moving away for a job. But right before we did the queen, we also had the dungeon crawler where you had the fire abilities and I had the ice. Was that right?
Oh, dude. Yes,
I
that
think
was
you
so fun.
Absolutely loved that one. Then we also went to the next section, which is the cuckoo clock, where I had the fast forward and freezing time. I could manipulate time on certain things. And
yes.
You had...
I had the cloning ability.
That's right, cloning. Sorry, I was looking at my notes here. I was like, where
teleport.
was it? Then we did the snow globe with the magnets.
I loved that one.
Yeah,
that one was really cool.
I liked the ambient environment as well as the level design. Incredible. Absolutely.
Yes.
That for me was a 1 out of 1, you know.
Ditto to that.
And then the next one was the garden section. That's where we had our abilities of me turning into different garden plants, and then you with your, what I am calling the WWW.
WWW?
The Weed Whack Waterer.
I had my little spigot and my scythe.
And then the final area is called the attic. And that's where you had your voice and I had my symbol. Which I'm seeing now because I'm looking at the level design. We found all 5 mini games in the attic, so that's pretty good. 4 in that first place, and then the one that was later on.
Yeah, because I know for sure we didn't find them all.
Oh yeah, we were missing a ton, and we'll get to that later on a different recording when we go back and play these mini games. Find these mini games and then play them.
Yes.
I'm sure they will be in there somewhere. So with this enlightenment, are there any favorite levels you had?
Yeah, I mean, you know, being retrospective like that, it really reminded me of that dungeon crawler moment. That one I kind of forgot about, and it was one of my favorites now that I can recall it. But other than that, I 100% agree with you about the snow globe level. I think all in all, as a level as a whole, that one was my favorite. I love snow, and even though snow doesn't love me, I'm kidding. It was a good time.
Are you talking about, because you were saying a level overall, are you talking about an area, like Rose's room being an area, and the snow globe being an area? Because the snow globe had 4 different levels in it. Let me...
Oh, yeah. Huh.
So if you click on Play Online right now, and then press the host through Steam, then you can go to the chapter select on the top ribbon. That's how I don't have all this memorized. This is my cheat sheet, so I'm able to look through them all right now.
Yeah.
And so I just clicked through them real quick, just taking a look at them.
The level design for the cuckoo clock was very cool.
Which one?
Just as a whole.
Oh, like the whole section? Or the chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the whole chapter, each section.
I think they could play around with it a lot, with the whole idea of them guiding you through the area using the tracks with the cuckoo clock people, the one that was you and the one that was me, right, that we were following the whole time. I thought that was pretty clever to use them, like, to introduce these different areas and keep you motivated and going in the right direction, keeping you, so you don't just get opened up to this area and you have to explore all these different things. You'd get too overwhelmed to where the player might get lost in all of the environment, the things you could do in the environment, such as that tower, which I know that was your favorite part of the entire game.
Oh my gosh. Not that tower. Never again. Never again.
What if I give you a kiss if you make it to the top?
I'm never getting a kiss then, because it's impossible
How
for
about
me.
How about a Hershey's kiss?
Well, you know, that's food, so that's a different story.
Yeah, it's food and it's chocolate.
Yep. The best of both worlds.
Is that a deal or no deal?
You drive a hard bargain, sir. How about both a kiss and a Hershey kiss?
I think you deserve both if you make it to the top. Deal. Okay, so I know in our first video, like, we talked about what we wanted to accomplish, what we hoped to accomplish by playing this game. And what you knew about the game going into it, is this game different than what you were expecting?
I think it was. It was and it wasn't, I will say. I didn't realize it would be so story rich. You know, I thought it would be more so like the two characters are more like just journeying through this magical world and doing parkour and just having fun, but it really had a lot of heart behind it that I didn't expect. And as we brought up before, the life lessons in there, you know, it's a deep game, but it's also a very fun game with all the different mechanics. So
yeah, and it's really hard.
Those are my 2 cents.
It's really hard in game design to do exactly that. Of you thought the game was going to be where we literally ran around, but there was more dialogue in the game, which I think immersed you and made you feel closer to. Let me look at my note here. May and Cody.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
And so you can see how in game design, getting dialogue and mastering that art of sound design, I guess you could say, really immerses you. Just like I think you would say the same thing with the movies or films.
Oh yeah.
Would be if your sound, like, you can have this incredible like what's one of the best movies you've seen? I'm not saying number one, but at least up there.
Yeah, I mean, semi recently was Dune, which is one of my all-time favorite
So
movies.
if you took out all of the dialogue from Dune and it was just the music, would it be a good movie?
I think so.
And then if you took out all the music and it was just the dialogue, would it be a good movie?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, they say sound is half your film, so plays a huge role.
Oh, is that a saying?
Yeah, in the filmmaking world at least.
Yeah, good to know.
I don't know if it's common knowledge, but
Yeah, I didn't know
at
that.
least from my studies, yeah. It's like, think of the difference of Dune if it were recorded, like the sound were recorded on like an Android phone.
In a sound studio versus live.
Yes, yeah.
Like they
Imagine like
did
you
with
were
that.
recording off of a cell phone versus in a studio.
So getting UFO footage. I know I've asked this. This will be my third time. Favorite level?
Definitely it's the one after warming up. I forget what it's called.
Winter Village.
But it's in the... Yes, that's the one. There were just so many things to explore in such a beautiful environment. And that's really the moment that I noticed, at least, that May and Cody were really getting closer to one another. So, I don't know. It was touching in that way, and then it was also a very interesting and, for lack of a better term, cool level.
You didn't want to go with hot?
I apologize for that bad pun. Oh my gosh.
I think I'm gonna have to agree on that. I mean, I liked the slippery slopes, which was the final level on the snow globe thing, but the Winter Village, the Winter Village for me was really fun to, pretty much run around with all the different environments.
There were so many things to do.
Yeah, things to do, and apparently there were 3 mini games there that we completely missed, which makes sense because we kind of just zoomed around like crazy.
Yeah.
I remember seeing one of the drums, but we didn't go close to it. But we'll get to that later. Anyways, but yeah. I think I agree. I think the snow globe chapter was probably my favorite, and then Winter Village was probably my favorite level, in terms of like story wise. As for actual like level design, I think, oh man, there were some really clever things in here. Like a lot of the mini games used concepts from other games, and I liked that idea. The dungeon crawler one was really fun to me, but that's also the style of game that I enjoy from time to time.
Yeah.
Maybe flying with my underwear.
With the fighter jet stuff with the squirrels.
Yes, man. Oh, rehearsal. That was a fun one. I liked making the music. That's my favorite one right there, with the 3 different pads. I like that one. That was my favorite.
There's another one that's coming to mind now that I didn't remember until now. It was in the moon baboon area with the gravity boots that May had.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting way, because that was really when it transformed into a more 2D platformer. And I thought that was an interesting mechanic to introduce, and then it pretty much littered it throughout the rest of the game. So I think establishing it in that context made it really fun, because I love space.
So it worked out for you.
What did you think about it?
That you liked the 2D platformer.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Do you like Mario?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Anyways.
Maybe not the best at it, but I enjoy it.
But that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I mean, just because I enjoy kissing does not mean I'm the best at it, you know?
There you have it, folks. I run Windows 98.
Yes, ma'am. Right here. The one and only. You can never upgrade from Windows 98. Okay, so I want to go through this as well. Out of all of the abilities that we had, so we had the hammer and nail, the honey gun and match gun, the shrink ability, the shrink belt, I guess, and then the gravity boots, the dungeon crawler with the ice and the fire, the time manipulation and the cloning, the magnets, the garden plants and the water, the WWW, and then the voice and the symbol. Which do you think was your favorite? Like, you were like, you liked the concept that they gave with it.
I would probably say the hammer and nail, because it really gave me a challenge and it was really fun at the same time.
So right off the bat, they gave you your favorite one.
Yeah, I'd say either that or the magnets. The magnets are really cool.
What did you like about the magnets?
They really invited the teamwork aspect like really closely, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, like the force of attraction element from Dr. Hakim. Oh, the book.
That man's chin.
I think it was I think it was a very clever use of that, and I don't know, it made it funny, functional, and fun. There you have it.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
For me, I did like turning into Bob the Tomato in the garden. That was funny.
That was funny. You did a good job as a tomato.
Thank you. Yeah, I really tried. And, you know, I think next time you really need to, like, get up to my speed. I guess you could say catch up.
Oh my gosh.
You're welcome.
I did not see that coming.
Neither did they. I think my favorite was the magnets. Because although the other ones, you know, the whole game is littered with puzzles, I think the magnets one was the most puzzly. The most, hey, work this out. The other ones, they might have had like timing and stuff, but I think I got the most satisfaction from using the magnet, so I think that's why I'm leaning towards them. Or I guess you could say they're pulling me in.
Oh my gosh.
Are you a magnet, Daydream?
No.
Because I'm attracted to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, I'm just full of the puns right now. Okay, anyways.
You are, goodness gracious.
I will stop. Bosses. So obviously we had the vacuum cleaner. I don't think we need to say anything besides eyeballs on that.
Yep.
We had the queen bee.
That was pretty disturbing.
Or the queen wasp.
Yeah.
Then you had moon baboon. Then we had the elephant.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Well,
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. We saw the end. Yeah, we saw the end. Then we had the, what was it, the crow in the clock tower, or the hawk, or whatever it was, the bird.
The bird, yeah.
I didn't feel any connection to that boss at all. Like,
yeah, me neither. It was more so just cool level design that I connected
exactly.
with
Like
there.
it was just kind of, yeah, exactly. Then the snow place, I think it was just mostly sliding down the hill. Was that the boss, kinda?
Well, what caused the hill to get all wrecked?
Our relation she.
Oh,
which
I see.
Turned into a relationship. Yes. I'm respecting my mother's wishes, okay? Don't at me. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Then we had Joy the flower in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
That was another boss. And then the final boss, I think, was Rainbow Road. Or I guess the devils? I don't...
Or maybe the crowd of glow sticks.
Oh, yeah, I guess the button mashing and all that. The DJing for him. Yeah, that would have been the final...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all those
The
glow sticks. Yeah, the club. All the highlighters everywhere, dude.
Oh my gosh.
What's one thing that like didn't surprise you about this game?
One thing that didn't surprise me. That's a good question.
I know for me, obviously story writing wise, it made sense that they would get back together. I wouldn't see it doing well as a game if they didn't, unless it was like super hard hitting, but I couldn't see that happening with this game. But there were some game mechanics that they used that it just makes sense in this style of game, of a 2-player game, of using other game mechanics from previous games, but using them with these graphics in this way. It just made sense to me. I'm trying to think of a good example here. I'm clicking through these levels trying to find something. Oh, shrinking. That's a big one. Yeah, shrinking, switching gravity. That's a normal game mechanic that you can mess with, which is shrinking and changing the size of meshes and skeletons. Like it's a classic. Well, look at Mario. Super Mario. One of the first things, right? You get a mushroom and you grow. Just right there off the bat. That's what I'm talking about. Is like you're taking classic ideas and incorporating them. So like it made sense that some of those that would pop up that was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's something that didn't surprise me. Did you think of anything?
I mean, it is a little harder for me to think of these things because I'm more of like the storyteller and filmmaker brained person.
Well, were there any
games in and out, so.
Were there any story thing wise that didn't surprise you, or I don't know, scene wise?
I mean, the final couple of chapters where Cody and May are working together to get the pieces of the ripped up paper, that really made sense in the way it was organized, because it just felt so sequential and like, boom, checkpoint, you got one page or one section of the page, boom, another checkpoint, you got the second part, and so forth. One thing that did surprise me, but I appreciated it at the same time, is that we never saw the final piece of the page get recovered.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. It was running through my head as you talked about it. Because we had that grand finale, and I think it would have changed the tone of everything.
Because it would have made it less sentimental and meaningful.
Yeah, because we went from our two dolls pushing their faces together to now we are humans.
The power of love.
Oh my gosh. And then we woke up as humans. It would have taken it out if we had kissed and then, oh, here's this last page. Or here's this last piece. Yeah. Here's your page. Now read it. Okay, now go back to human form. I think they
Yeah,
did a
it
better
really
job
wasn't
this way.
necessary. Yeah.
And do you remember what the letter was? Like why?
It was a note from Rose.
Which that was the note that we read in the final scene.
Was it? Because I thought it was on blue paper and then the final note was yellow.
Well, why did we go collect all the pages then?
Interesting. Yeah, in my mind, I just thought it was a whole different note.
So you thought that it was just a completely separate note, whereas in my mind,
Yeah.
I thought of it as the same note.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting, like, again, that's one of those things in game development, like, they could have done a better job maybe coloring the page something different so it stood out more. Like, because you remember it being blue,
Like to
is that
clarify
right?
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
maybe making it purple or, well, that doesn't really work with colorblind. Make it black sheet of paper. White text. Or yellow. Yellow would look good on black. Anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, anyways, sidetrack.
Yep.
Do you have any other thoughts that you want to touch on?
I did want to make a comment about the music in this game. I know we touched on sound design and sound in general, but I really think the music and the scoring of the game really tied it all together. Like, as we were kind of discussing before, like without it, there would be something missing, you know? And like even now, like just listening to this music, it's just so beautiful and serene and such a good bookend to this whole adventure that we've just had. And then even when you boot up the game, it's a good bookend because, you know, it kind of starts out in a peaceful, safe place and then boom, you're thrown into it, you know? So yeah, I really enjoyed the music. It makes me kind of want to just like listen to it outside of playing the game, just on my own time, you know?
So you're telling me this is all I'm going to hear for the next 6 months?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Just kidding.
I wouldn't mind. Like, yeah, like exactly like you're saying, the music is fantastic. And I think, again, this whole concept of if they didn't have the music and the dialogue, like the voiceover, this would be just a fantastic graphical game kind of thing. But the game mechanics are kind of basic. When you break them down, they're kind of the basic game mechanics. There weren't really any game mechanics that surprised me. Like none of these tools that I was like, oh, I did like how they incorporated them, like with the level layout and whatnot. So I enjoyed that part. But I think with the music, yeah, it's just fantastic. Even right now, like this music in the background, fantastic.
Yeah.
I really liked the singing of I almost said Rose, that's not it, May, in the attic, like when you would have those moments in those cutscenes where you would actually sing, you know? And then obviously the grand finale where you got through your stage fright and went out and performed.
And we kiss.
Did we?
Dude.
I think we'll just have to try it again. I don't remember.
Oh boy. You just want to play the game more.
No, I just want to kiss you.
Aww.
Yeah, that's right. I'm out of the doghouse. Okay, so any other remarks that you want to make?
No, I think I'm good.
Perfect. All right, now I'm going to ask you some more questions.
Actually, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I recall at the very beginning of this series, we laid out some goals, and I very explicitly remember mine was to get better at parkour. And boy, while I understand it better, I don't think I improved very much. But that is just my perspective on the matter.
What did you learn about parkour?
It was interesting because before this, all of my parkour experience was kind of from like Minecraft or Terraria, things where the parkour is just quite literally set in stone. It doesn't move unless you have like pistons, or I don't know what the Terraria equivalent would be. Whereas with this game, there were a lot of different mechanics used. Like we could swing from hooks and we could slide on, I don't know, a zip line. Is that what it would be called?
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. There was just a lot more to it. And I think that, I have a more diverse knowledge of parkour now in games. Not in real life, that would be cool, but yeah, it was interesting to me to learn that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. I think something else to note here, just for your information with parkour, I think a lot of the things that I noticed when I would be waiting for you is the position of your you can change the position of your camera. That affects a lot in a lot of games that deal with movement. That's a big part of it, is where is the camera movement. And they did a good job with the camera movement in this game and keeping it relatively right where you wanted it. And the fact that on keyboard mouse, I can obviously move it. I assume your right stick on the analog or on the controller could move the camera.
Yeah.
There were times where you forgot about that, I think. And so that that I think would make the parkour much more difficult. Because if your camera's always behind you in a kind of fixed-ish position, you kind of gauge the jumps and the distances based off of that. But if you forget to position the camera, it can mess with your, I guess, muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know if that helps, but there's that information.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
So the big part with making a hard-hitting game, and especially this game being Game of the Year, right? Well, not this year, but getting the Game of the Year award at one point. So with that, one of the main questions you want to ask is, would you play this again? Is this replayable?
Absolutely. I would.
Now, is there anyone that comes to mind that you would love to play this with?
I'd say like some of my best friends I would love to play this with.
What makes you say that?
Because like, I don't know, I mean, we've been so close for so many years, and, being able to share in this beautiful story and then having them experience these life lessons that are littered throughout in such an inspirational way, I think is both going to be character building for them and then, helping us get closer as friends. And
is there anyone that comes to mind, since this is literally it takes two people, instead of you playing it with somebody, are there two people that you would love to have play together?
Oh, and then like watch them play together?
Not necessarily watch them, but just like, hey, I think you two should play this.
Just like have the experience.
Yeah, like you've gone through the experience. Who else do you want to go through the experience?
I would definitely say my best friend.
Your best friend, and then who would they play with?
Maybe her little brother. I think that would be really nice, because they're already pretty close, and I think this would help them become even closer.
So you think people should play this to improve their relationships?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. Because the parkour will test them.
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah, that tower, man. Oh my gosh.
Dude, oh my gosh.
I struggled on
That
that.
tested and broke my patience.
I struggled on that one pretty hard too.
Yeah. But you made it to the top.
Yeah, it took me a while, but yeah,
Oh.
I just don't give up. That's how I win.
Yeah.
Now, playing this game, would you have loved to play this for the first time with somebody else? Would you have chosen somebody else to play this with for the first time?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it was a good thing for us.
You know, things have been really tough. Just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were on the cusp of breaking up, so I'm just kidding.
This game got us back together. It was the magnets, the attraction.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, I think I would agree. I don't think I would. I mean, I definitely wouldn't play this with any of my friends because they're all dudes. So, and all my grill friends are they have their husbands, so it would be like I would love for them to play this with their husbands. I think they would enjoy that. As for my friends, I think they can just watch these videos and be fine. But you know, eventually, like, yeah, sure, play this with your significant other. You know, I think it's a fun time. Whether you are a gamer or not. If you're not a gamer, it's definitely going to take some getting used to, and it will take a while, but won't be as easy. But it's still worth it. But I think it's still worth it, yeah. All right. Daydream, this is the final thing. Pick a number 1 through 4, and this is really important, so I need you to choose very wisely.
Oh boy, gotta lock in here. I'm gonna go with number 3.
Okay. And then I need you to do it one more time.
Number 2 for It Takes Two.
You are very smart. Okay, so I had a list here. Dr. Hakim, Rose, May, and Cody. So your favorite character was May, and mine was Rose. There you go.
All right.
I'm really glad he didn't pick number 1, because that man's chin would have destroyed me, dude.
Oh boy. His dancing at the end got me, bro. That's nightmare material.
You know what? I barely touched on this, and I want to give it more credit now that I'm thinking about it. I should have done this earlier. Graphics. What did you think of the graphics?
I thought they were beautiful. I could tell, like, here and there where, like, you know, maybe certain assets weren't quite blending together very well. But it's like, even then, the quality was so high, you know?
And if you click on your options tab, what were your, where is that? Display, texture quality. What did you have those at?
High.
Okay. I had mine at ultra. Because I was going to say, I didn't really see anything, like, clipping into each other. Yeah, I never really had any issues with any of them looking low polygon, is what we like to say. I think they all, I think they did a fantastic job with them. I could definitely tell where assets were copied and pasted kind of thing, you know, duplicates, which saves on space, so I am always grateful for that. I think games need to be smaller sized, but also to make fantastic looking games nowadays, it's really hard to do with with the space restraints. Yeah. So I think overall, installing this game for as much space as it took up, which I am checking right now, is approximately 50 gigabytes, 45. I think it's worth downloading and playing. I think the graphics are fantastic, the music's fantastic. Overall, I would give this game a 1 out of 1. A 10 out of 10.
There we go.
That's my review.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there, Windows.
Actually, I'm going to change that. 9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
The only thing that I have against it is I know, for me, once I 100% complete the game, I'm probably never going to touch it again.
Oh, really? Interesting. Because I kind of view it as the sort of thing like where there's a rainy day in, we can just pop this game on and play a level or two.
I mean, do I have a choice?
No.
Yep, see?
I'm kidding.
That's why it gets 9 out of 10. Not looking forward to the rainy days.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I would gladly play this with you.
Aw.
I did notice there were a lot of butterfly things, so I really want to go look at the game development or the game design. That's how I should say that. What do you call that? You in movies, they make the little shot-by-shot scenes, like with pencil.
Like a breakdown? Oh, storyboard.
Storyboard. I want to go do that for this game. Sorry, thank you for helping me out there. And,
you got it.
And seeing like just how many references came from, the lives of the designers. Because there are a lot of butterflies in this game hidden throughout. You can find them. So, like, I wonder if there's a significance behind that. Or the giant freaking cat in the frame on the wall.
Yeah.
That random kid, which, by the way, is probably Rose's friend, is what I realized while we were watching the credits. Okay. I was like, that would make sense that it's a friend. I know we were joking about the son, and I figured we'd roll with it, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I could see, I think, or let me rephrase this. I believe in this storyboard, right? If I do this for this game, can go back and find the pinpointed locations of like the critical points of like, hey, I'm a parent, here's my experience, let's put this into the game. Those little touches of here's real life experience that's being applied to the game. And that I guess the voice, you could say, right? Because that's part of the story, is like who is actually writing it and what are they saying. And so I can see that in some of their decisions.
As far as the script goes, you mean?
Yeah. The script and some of the assets.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if they modeled the daughter after somebody's real daughter, or this story. Maybe it came about because the designer's parents split up or something. I don't know. Or he was going through a breakup and he said, hey, you know what? Keep breaking up with me because this is a great idea. I don't know. That sounds really bad.
That's a little morbid.
Yeah. I'm not a vacuum cleaner.
Oh, man.
Don't come get my eyeballs, thank you. Alright, well, thank you for playing It Takes Two with me, and I look forward to trying out Split Fiction when that comes out later this year.
Yeah. Who knows, by the time this video is online, it might already be out.
Oh, this video is coming out December 2024, dude.
What?
Wait a second, it's 2025. Never mind.
What are you smoking?
I'm just kidding. All right, well, have fun. I'm gonna shut up so you can do your outro.
All right. Thank you for watching, Daydreamers. It was a pleasure to share this wonderful experience with you. And as always, keep dreaming. Bye!